is NBC Palm Springs.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on NBC Palm Springs. We're streaming wherever you are on social media. I'm Olivia Sandusky. We'll start tonight with COVID-19 spreading through the government. Now, it started with President Trump and First Lady testing positive, which was announced late Thursday night. But today, his doctor saying in a press conference the president could have tested positive earlier in the week. And now 11 people have tested positive from the virus through in the White House and in the Senate. You can see that entire group up here on the screen. It includes 3 Republican senators, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, President Trump's campaign manager Bill Stepien, and former White House counselor Kellyanne Conway, as well as Hope Hicks of one of the President Trump's aides. Now, most of them were in attendance at a White House event last weekend for the announcement of Amy Coney Barrett as Supreme Court nominee. We'll have more information on all of those positive tests coming up. But first, let's take a live look outside of Walter Reed Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland, where President Trump is being treated. And we have seen some police presidents, some supporters of President Trump out there all day. He was airlifted there yesterday afternoon and will be there for a couple of days as a precautionary measure. But an hour ago, the president posted a video statement on Twitter from Walter Reed, and here's a portion of that.
I want to begin by thanking all of the incredible medical professionals, the doctors, the nurses, everybody at Walter Reed Medical Center. I think it's the finest in the world, for the incredible job they've been doing. I came here, wasn't feeling so well. I feel much better now. We're working hard to get me all the way back.
The full 4-minute statement from President Trump can be found on his Twitter account. There has been some confusion tonight about President Trump's condition and his prognosis. His medical team told the world he's doing well, but a White House official told reporters he was showing some troubling signs and that there are some concerns over the next 48 hours. Alice Barr has the latest.
Mixed messages and serious concern tonight about President Trump's fight with COVID-19. His medical team proclaiming he was in good spirits and hasn't had a fever in 24 hours.
At this time, the team and I are extremely happy with the progress the president has made.
Dr. Sean Conley said the president developed symptoms Thursday, including a mild cough, congestion, and fatigue. But his briefing spurred more questions than answers. The White House later issued a memo correcting the timeline Dr. Conley offered, and he wouldn't answer certain questions, like how high the president's fever had been, offering only vague answers to whether he'd been treated with supplemental oxygen.
He has not received any supplemental oxygen?
He's not on oxygen right now, that's right.
He has not received any at all?
He's not needed any this morning, today at all. That's right.
But the concerning thing again is, today they talk about the vitals being normal, him being up and around, him doing things, a little confusing as to whether he was on oxygen or not. That's important because if he was on oxygen, that means that his lungs are being affected at this point.
A source familiar with President Trump's condition telling NBC News' Peter Alexander some of the president's vital signs Friday morning were, quote, early indicators of the potential progression beyond mild illness. On Twitter, the president's account tweeting praise for doctors and nurses and saying, quote, with their help, I am feeling well. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And the list of positive tests surrounding President Trump is expanding. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie says he has the virus. He made this announcement over Twitter this morning, and this afternoon he tweeted he has checked into the hospital, saying it's just out of precaution as he's experiencing mild symptoms. Christie helped President Trump prepare for last week's presidential debate and said that no one was wearing masks during that debate prep. He was also at the White House Supreme Court nomination ceremony last weekend, where several attendees have tested positive. And now over to Capitol Hill, where the list of lawmakers testing positive for COVID-19 continues to grow. North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis has tested positive for COVID-19. Tillis was another attendee of the White House event last Saturday for Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett. He is the second member of the Senate Judiciary Committee to test positive after attending that event. Republican Mike Lee of Utah also announced he tested positive. Republican Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, who heads the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. He will stay in isolation until he's cleared by a doctor. Johnson was not at the White House event last weekend, and the person or group believed to have exposed Johnson to the virus was not named. He's the third senator to test positive. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell requests that the Senate not come back into session until October 19th after these recent rounds of tests. However, McConnell says the Judiciary Committee will still move forward with confirmation hearings for Supreme Court nominee Judge Amy Coney Barrett. He says they can be done virtually by all committee members. McConnell's request requires Democrats to agree. The Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says in a statement that if it's too dangerous for the Senate to work, it's too dangerous for Barrett's hearings. And Cleveland officials say 11 people have tested positive for coronavirus, all traced to the presidential debate earlier this week. The clinic says those who tested positive were either members of the news media or part of the setup crew, but that they never accessed the debate site. And with the news of President Trump testing positive, we wanted to hear local reaction from elected officials and members of both political parties. Our Nico Payne gathered those reactions and has more.
As leaders around the world react to President Trump and the First Lady testing positive for coronavirus, here in Coachella Valley, local leaders are chiming in too.
I think everybody was kind of shocked last night, but you know what? It could happen to anybody. And I feel like the president has been very cautious about where he is and what he's doing.
I wasn't that surprised because he has spurned wearing masks. At the debate, his family were offered masks. They refused. If you look at the video, his wife, his children did not have masks on. It's unfortunate, however.
Congressman Raul Ruiz and Assemblymember Chad Mays also reacting to the news, saying it's a wake-up call to us all.
I'm praying for the health and a speedy recovery for the President and the First Lady. And I also want to take this opportunity, a wake-up call, and ask every viewer and every resident and community member to please wear your mask. Please keep physically distance of at least 6 feet or more. And please wash your hands with frequency so that we can put an end to this terrible virus.
The President of the United States is America's CEO, and anytime there's a threat to the CEO, I think it's one of those things where we all come together as a country. This is a dangerous virus, and it is no respecter of persons. So that's why public health officials have told us to wear masks, to be socially distant. If the President of the United States can be affected by this, any of us can be affected by it.
For NBC Palm Springs, Nico Payne.
Regeneron, the company that produced the antibody drug cocktail for President Donald Trump, gives us an inside look at its lab. The antibody cocktail is currently being evaluated for both the treatment and prevention of COVID-19. More than 2,000 people have been enrolled in clinical trials for the drug combo. The White House also released a statement last night saying the president is initiating remdesivir treatment as well. We've heard many times now that the president is experiencing mild symptoms. But what are considered mild symptoms of the respiratory infection that has proven deadly for over 200,000 Americans? Michael Connors, an infection specialist at Eisenhower Health, says the term is generic.
But typically mild symptoms are low-grade fevers, say less than 100.4 to 100.7, mild cough, body aches, no difficulty breathing.
President Trump is also at a higher risk for complications from the virus as he's over the age of 65 and technically obese. Let's take a live look now from our Agua Caliente casino cam. You can see those beautiful colors out there in the sunrise, a little hazy off into the distance as that sun starts to go down. Let's send things over to NBC Palm Springs' Nico Payne with your AccuWeather forecast.
Yes, taking a look at our weather conditions. Yesterday, we hit a high of 111. Normally around this time of year, we are in the mid-90s, but nothing near that record high of 116 that we hit back in 1980. Looking at the low temperatures tonight, we're going to be very comfortable at 65 degrees in Joshua Tree, 73 degrees in Palm Springs, and looking at 73 degrees as well in Thousand Palms. Now, looking at our surface weather analysis here in Coachella Valley, the triple digits are going to be sticking around for some time. We're looking at highs between 105 to 108, and it's going to be very hot and dry. Now, as we head down to Imperial County, you may see some light surface breezes, but nothing much, just very mild. Now, looking at our hourly temps with dew points for tomorrow, we're going to start off in the morning very, very comfortable, around 73 degrees. And then as we head into the afternoon, we're looking at triple digits, 106 by 4 p.m. And as we head into the evening, dipping down just just a bit at 93 degrees. Now, the dew point is going to stay in the 35-degree range. Very hot, very dry conditions, and those will continue as the week goes on as well. Looking at high temperatures for tomorrow, 96 degrees in Banning, 108 in Palm Springs, looking at 107 in Indio. Now, let's look at our next 3 days, brought to you by Comfort Air. As we head into tomorrow, looking at 108, that will continue into Monday. A slight dip as we head into Tuesday, but not much. And then we're looking at our overnight lows, very comfortable in the 70s.
All right, thank you, Nico. We'll take a look at the coronavirus numbers for Riverside County and the entire Coachella Valley. Now, remember, the county doesn't report these numbers on weekends, so these are as of Friday. Riverside County is approaching 60,000 cases, over 14,000 of those here in the Coachella Valley. More than 1,200 deaths have occurred countywide, 337 of those from the valley. We saw only 83 new cases reported on Thursday, one of the lowest numbers in the past couple of weeks. But then on Friday, more than 5 times as many new cases were reported at 446. Restaurants have been one of the hardest hit industries during the pandemic, having to close and reopen multiple times in recent months. But one restaurant in Palm Desert is gearing up to expand outdoor dining in an effort to boost their business, and they're encouraging others to follow. El Paseo, the popular shopping destination in Palm Desert, is looking to follow in the footsteps of Palm Springs when it comes to outdoor dining.
What we're trying to do is extend into the street area safely. It'll give us an additional 6 to 8 tables based on social distancing.
In partnership with the city, Il Corso will be one of the first restaurants on El Paseo to test out this type of expansion.
And then we plan on adding more of a decal, kind of faux greenery along the barricades to kind of make it a little more pleasant of an eating experience.
Some of the new tables will be placed directly in front of neighboring businesses, but owners say they don't mind the expansion. In fact, they welcome it.
I think it's fabulous. I encourage them to do it. As a board member on El Paseo, we wanted to be able to get people outside dining, so we would be able to encourage more excitement and life on the street.
This is a trial run for Il Corso, but they hope to be an example for other restaurants and want to see others follow suit.
Hopefully we won't be the last. As this COVID-19 progresses and goes on and on, restaurants are hurting a lot. And even though we're allowed 25% capacity inside, it's just not enough to feed the beast.
And business owners say they believe it will lead to increased traffic and encourage others to explore the possibility.
Some other landlords have come to take a look at it, which has been great. Everything I've heard is positive. Everybody wants to encourage it, and they liked what they've seen, so I think it's going to be a plus all around.
So hopes their new outdoor expansion will be up and running next week, starting on Wednesday.
Coronavirus coverage brought to you by East Valley COVID-19 testing site, serving residents of eastern Coachella Valley.
Coming up next here on NBC Palm Springs, a retirement ceremony is underway for a fighter jet at the Palm Springs Air Museum. We'll have a live report after the break. Plus, wildfires continue to burn across California. We'll update you on a couple of major ones out here in our area. That's all coming up when we return. Stay with us.
Yeah, it took Mike's. It was.
Tonight, a ceremony is being held for a retired F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter at the Palm Springs Air Museum. It's been trucked in from Nevada, and after the ceremony will undergo a full restoration that'll take at least a year. Our Jonathan Oaxaca joins us live now from that ceremony. What's going on out there, Jonathan?
Thank you, Olivia. This is the reason why there's this special ceremony out here at the Palm Springs Air Museum. And this is a F-117A Nighthawk stealth fighter. In the 1980s, 64 of them were produced. 5 of them were prototypes. They were mostly operated during the nighttime for special operations. This F-117 has the nickname of the Black Devil. The reason behind it is because when these aircrafts were produced, they had a black paint and they were really hard to see and hear up in the sky. They had some amazing technology on them. Now, the average cost for these type of airplanes were from $111.2 million. On April 2008, the U.S. Air Force retired these combat airplanes. Now, we had the opportunity to talk to the pilot, and this is what he shared with us.
When they retired in 2008, they flew them all up to Tonopah, Nevada, took the wings off it, and they put them in these hangars. And that was the end of that. And we had heard very strong information that the Air Force was going to grind them up and destroy them. There are a few F-117s out in the real world, but they're all pre-production aircraft, 5 of them. These aircraft that the Air Force is releasing now, including this one, A-33, which you'll see today, is an operational aircraft.
It took 4 years for the Air Museum to receive this F-117. They will have a few more viewing events for the public before it goes into a full restoration for at least 1 year. If you want more information, you can visit the PalmSpringsAirMuseum.org. I'm reporting live from Palm Springs. Jonathan Oaxaca, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. We'll take a look now at the latest on a couple of the major wildfires burning in California. Firefighters in Northern California are facing a tough fight as they battle the glass fire. The blaze has burned over 62,000 acres in Napa and Sonoma counties. It's 10% contained. Fire crews are fighting against high heat, gusty winds, low humidity, and rugged terrain. Thick smoke has also largely grounded the air attack. CAL FIRE says 173 homes have been destroyed in Napa County and 120 in Sonoma County. The fire has also destroyed dozens of wineries. And closer to home, firefighters continue to make progress on the Bobcat fire. The blaze broke out at the beginning of September and is burning in the Angeles National Forest just north of LA. Containment of that fire now sits at 84%. The fire has burned 114,000 acres. Fire crews are focusing their efforts to protect nearby Mount Wilson. The estimated containment date has been pushed back to the end of October, and the cause of that fire is still under investigation. We'll take a live look now from our Agua Caliente casino cam. Nico will have your forecast when we return. Stay with us.